stuck to the plan. Always said that we would stand up, never ran. We the fam and loyalty never change up. Been down since day one, look at where we came from. Jumping out on anybody who try to say something. One thing about it, got a problem, I got the same one. Money rolls, we fold. Plenty clubs, we close. Follow the same code. Never turn our backs, our cars don't even lose control. One shot, everything rides on tonight.
Welcome to the Associated Wrestling Press's College Wrestling Review. I'll be your host, Eric Olenowski, and today for the show we have the Associated Wrestling Press's JJ Johnson. JJ, welcome back to the show for, I think, the fifth time now.
Yeah, good to be back. It's been a couple week stint, so
you got to have a break. Can't be wearing you out. 52nd Midlands Championships going on right now in Chicago. If you haven't had an opportunity to check them out, make sure you go to btn2go.com. They're free, so you can check them out if you haven't had the opportunity to do so. Let's jump right into the 125-pound. First, do you want to start off with going over the quarters? We can say who's on the semis, and then if you have anything to throw in for the quarters, we can do that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, let's do that. That works.
All right. So for the semifinals for tomorrow will be Thomas Gilman and Steve Mitchell on the top side, and Rodriguez and Joey Dance on the bottom side. I don't think that Midlands has been as stacked, or it's not as stacked as it has been in the previous years. But this is one of the better weight classes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think from an overall depth standpoint, maybe it's not where it was, but the top guys are the top guys. I mean, if the same teams that were coming there every year were there, these guys would still be probably in the semis or very close. So, And when you look at this semis, I think obviously even according to the seeds, these are the guys that were supposed to be there 1, 2, 3, 4, and they've had pretty little trouble on their path so far. So.
Yeah, I think, and for Northwestern, looking at Mitchell, what a young guy making the Midlands finals. This is one of, it's a great place to wrestle, and it's going to be exciting to see tomorrow. He knows he's on the big stage. He knows he's on national TV. He's going against Thomas Gilman, one of the top guys in the Big Ten currently right now at this weight class. So it's going to be, I'm curious to see how he matches up with Gilman in order to see, in the coming years, how he'll be able to come into the starting lineup and hang with the Big Ten. Who do you have on the top side between Gilman and Mitchell?
I've got Gilman. Mitchell is tough. He's beaten. He just beat Corey Mines 13-1. He's got a win over Moisey. He's got a win over David Terreo from American. So those are 3 top 20, borderline fringe top 20 guys. And he's been in the college game for about 2 months. So that's a heck of a start. He also got beat by Tomasello week 1. I think Gilman, Tomasello, pretty comparable. So you're probably looking at a similar score to what that was.
Okay, yeah. And what do you think about the Corey Mines getting majored by him? I didn't expect that. That's something I didn't expect.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I think you've mentioned Mines is kind of up and down. He's been better the past couple years with his consistency, and he got off to a slow start this year. He took some losses that I think he was probably better than a couple of those guys, but from a consistency standpoint, it might have just been one of those matches. I'd look for him to come back in the wrestlebacks and make a pretty deep run. So,
yeah, hopefully he can do that. What about the Josh Rodriguez and Joey Dance match?
I think it's going to be a good one. I think Rodriguez is tough. I think he's pretty underrated. He's strong. He used to be a 33-pounder 2 years ago, and he's right. He's top 15 guy. Does he have enough to beat Dance? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Dance is pretty solid. He's light years ahead of where he was last year at this point, I think. And he took 4th in the country last year. So I don't think he has enough. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be an entertaining match. And yeah, so I got Gilman Dance in the finals.
All right. That's a good finals. That's who I would have, and I bet 95% of the people would have that as well. I just think that, Gilman and Joey Dance are just one step ahead of everybody else at this weight class that are wrestling in the tournament. Let's move on to 133. AJ Shop will take on Zane Richards, and Corey Clark will take on Gerard Garnett. This is one of the deepest weight classes.
By far.
Yeah. And I'll just throw it out there right now. I say Gerard Garnett beats Corey Clark. That's just me. Don't fall out of your seat. He wrestled in the Midlands finals last year, didn't he?
I believe so. I know he's been in the finals before.
Yeah. So he's been there. He's been on the Big Ten Network. He's wrestled on the big stage. He's ready for it. I just think he's ready. I never wanted to wrestle him. He was always at 25 when I was at Midlands, and I always thought to myself, just please don't let me wrestle him first round. That's all I didn't want. But don't tell him I said that. Who do you have on the top side? AJ Shop, Zane Richards. That's going to be another tremendous match.
Is it?
You think you don't think so?
I don't know.
I do.
I think the separation between Shop and the rest of the field is, save a couple guys, is pretty far. He's gone fall so far. Just pinned Ryan Taylor, top 15 guy. It's tough to say with me for Richards because he hasn't really. He's wrestled a couple opens, and this is his first actual, I guess, competition under the Illinois singlet. I don't know. I don't know if he holds him to a decision.
Okay.
I don't know.
See, when I was
tight.
Well, when I was watching, what AJ Shop does is, he gets one or two takedowns and he just demolishes people on top. That's the Edinburgh way. That's how they. You don't really see them in too many close matches, and if you see them in close matches, that's when they're going to lose. If someone can get out on bottom and they can, semi-wrestle on top, then they're in good shape because they don't get too many takedowns. I think Zane Richards can wrestle on bottom. I think he can stop Shop from getting a takedown, so it's going to come down to if he can ride him out for, just take some energy away from him. We'll see.
It's a big if. It's a big if.
No, I know.
If he can get off, that's a big if.
So you're going Shop and who? Bottom half.
You're kind of talking me into Gerard Garnett, but I don't know. I think I got Corey Clark. It's going to go either way. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Garnett squeaked by another Virginia Tech guy, Nordstrom, in the quarters. Clark. Here's the thing. Garnett, he's got the savvy veteran about him. He's a couple-time All-American. Clark's an All-American, but he's going through it every day. And I don't know if Garnett is not. He's coaching.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit different, I think.
Great point.
You got the Iowa crowd there. They're usually pretty friendly. So I think it'll be a great match. I'll take Clark just because you're taking Garnett, but I would not be surprised if Garnett wins.
All right, and they've been killing it on the bonus points. Every time you see it, if you're watching, boom, Iowa fall, boom, Iowa fall. So
yeah, they're rolling.
And I think I was looking at the past champions earlier, and out of the 52, Iowa's won 23. So this would be their 24th out of 52 Midlands championships if they win this year, which they look like they are. They're on track to win.
Yeah, they should.
I'll say that. So let's move on to 141. We'll see another Edinburgh fighting Scott in Mitchellport, and he'll wrestle Chris McCate. And on the bottom half will be Steven Rodriguez and Devin Carter. I think Mitchellport's going to take the top half. I don't know if McCate has enough to really knock him off. I think he's like AJ Shop. I think he's one step ahead of everybody else at this weight class besides Devin Carter. I think they're going to meet in the finals, and I'll go with Devin Carter on the bottom half, and I think he'll win it all, but I don't think if Chris McCarty makes the finals, he'll even have a chance to wash Devin Carter's shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's McCarty's tough. He's really good on the mat. He's tough on top, and he kind of got off to a slow start this year, but he's coming around. He just knocked off Preston, who's a really tough guy. I think you're right. I think Port has a little bit too much for him. But if kind of like the Shop Richards thing, if he can wrestle with him on the mat, I think he'll be all right. Give himself a chance. But probably Port on top, and then I go Carter on bottom with an asterisk for Rodriguez. Rodriguez wrestled out of his mind at the Midlands last year. I think he was like an 11 seed, made the finals, and he's on that road almost exactly even where the bracket is to what he was last year, and he just beat Josh Jeva, which is a big win. But again, I think Carter's got too much. Carter Port should be an awesome final, though.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so that's all set. I think that's pretty even in what we think. Let's move on to 149. Surtis, the returning All-American, Russell Brody Grothis on the top half. Bottom half will be Sorensen and Habit. Once again, Surtis, the nail-biter. It seems like he's, if you add up all his points this year, he probably 50-50 going in. He doesn't score a lot of points, and his opponents score almost as many points as he does, but he always squeaks out the win.
Yeah, he's unbelievably tough to score on. He's got to have. When I watch him, his hips look very strong. Guys get to his leg, he squares up right away. He's got great position at all times. Yeah, and he just wins. He knows how to win, and he knows how to compete in tournaments as well, obviously. So, well, I did want to touch on. We didn't talk about it, but I just started thinking about it. At this time last year, Iowa's 149 situation was in complete shambles. Coming into the Midlands, everyone they had no idea what they were going to do. They were going to bump guys up. They were going to cut someone down, and then they came to the Midlands, and I think Grothis and Sorensen was redshirting. They both lost first round, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable." And then they both wrestled back and ended up taking fourth and fifth, and they were pinning ranked guys. And then it's just funny that they're both in the semis this year. How far they've come in a year. So I just thought that was interesting to touch on. But do you think either of the Iowa guys make the finals?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
I think Habit. I mean, when you look at him, you say he's one of those. He's a great wrestler, but he's not flashy. He doesn't do anything that sticks out, but he just wins matches. He goes out there. He stays in great position. He gets to he doesn't let anybody else control the mat. He goes out there, he takes advantage of what he needs to do. He scores points, and he keeps his opponents to basically score nothing. I mean, he's just a monster and he finishes his shots. That's the biggest thing in college wrestling. If you can finish your shots, you're going to do great, and he does that. And you can say that about everybody or the three for Edinburgh that are at 33, 41, and 49. So I think Sorensen's going to run into trouble with Habit, and I think Grothis, Jason, with Surtis, it might be a 2-1 match, but Surtis is going to win. You can't take it away from him, What do you think?
On Surtis Habit?
Yeah.
I think Habit
or do you or Sorensen Habit and Surtis and Grothis?
I think both those guys win.
Okay, good.
Surtis Habit, and I'm gonna take Habit over Surtis, assuming we get to see that. Just because, kind of like you were saying, I think they're so similar, and the few times I've watched Habit, it's unbelievable. And I don't know. He's still. You're looking at the NCAA champ, the guy who took fourth in NCAAs. I think it's a close match. I I think Habit. I like Habit. I like Habit to win that. So
Do you know who Habit reminds me of? Central Michigan had Ott. What was his first name? Do you know who I'm
who?
talking about? Central Michigan last year had Ott.
No, Joe Roth.
No, this was his name
Ottinger.
Ottinger. Yes. Oh
Oh.
my, yes. He reminded me of a thumb, someone who just stayed in great position. You couldn't do too much on him, but if he got on a shot, he was just a nose down, ready to wrestle. Those two remind me of each other. Let's move on to 157. You got Isaiah Martinez and Mike Kelly and Stoudemire and Pack.
I think Martinez is in the finals on top. I think he's going to score a lot of points as well. He is putting up points at an incredible rate, which is great for wrestling. He is scoring. He's always looking to score points. So he's fun to watch. If you're going to watch one guy wrestle tomorrow, I think he would probably be it. And then on the bottom half, I think these guys are really similar. Cody Pack and Justin Stoudemire from Brown, Pack from South Dakota State. I think it could go either way. They're both, I think they're like 12 and 14 in my rankings. So expect match, 2 point match. Stoudemire likes to grind out close matches like that. And Pack's wrestled a ton of really good guys this year, so he's tested. And yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Pack, but I think Stoudemire's right there.
Okay. And so you got Isaiah Martinez and Stoudemire from the bottom half, and Pack from the bottom half. I'll go Stoudemire. Someone who knows how to win the close matches. If you look throughout the tournament, he's, won 2-point matches every time, so why not keep it going? Why not add some fury to the fire? Anything else you want to touch on at 157? Are you ready to move on to 165?
Nope, let's do it. Move on.
All right. Taylor Walsh will wrestle Jackson Morris, and Pierce Harger will wrestle Nick Moore,
Nick Moore, yeah.
I'm excited to see Jackson Morris back to where, his high school potential level. He came out of Michigan, so I had an opportunity to watch him a lot. I think he was, and I'm not saying he hasn't lived up to the potential throughout college yet, but, he was just beating people up left and right in college. So this is going to be a good match. His first, not test of the season, but I think Taylor Walsh is going to be a good test for Jackson Morris. Who do you have in this one?
I got Jackson.
You do,
and I probably one of the few, but
no, he's wrestling great this season. That's a great call, but
he's wrestling great, and he's had some untimely injuries. His knees, I know for a fact he's had some problems with. He is the only undefeated guy in this bracket, and he just hasn't wrestled the top level guys this year, but. For what the stuff that Walsh does, I think Morse is having grown up watching him because he's from the next town over from me. He actually beat my little brother in the state finals his senior year. Fun fact. But he's very capable. No, good family friends. He's very capable of wrestling right alongside that stuff. Like he's flexible. He's good in those positions, and so I don't think it'll be a problem for him if he gets in positions like that. And he can also wrestle just how he is. He's really tough on top, and so I got him pulling the upset. Both these guys used to be 57s. I'm not sure if they wrestled when they were but I'll have to check on that.
Okay, and then for the bottom half, you got Pierce Harger and Nick Moore. And this might be a stupid question. Brother of Nate Moore?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So a little bigger than the brother.
Yeah, a little bit. This close match, I think they wrestled a couple times last year and Moore won them both. and then Harger placed in NCAAs and more didn't. So for that, I'll probably take Moore, just because he has beaten him. But Harger's been tough this year, and he's got the advantage on the mat, which is good. He's tough on top, and he just knocked off Tristan Warner, who's been having a great year, and Nick Moore just barely escaped against Adam Fierro from Bakersfield. They gave him a takedown at the end of the second.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna touch on. That was it was literally 1 second left with that takedown, but he got it. But
Yeah.
Fierro stopped wrestling. You can't do that.
Right.
If it's 1 split second he continues to wrestle, the referee doesn't give it because there was 2 seconds left. He was thinking about giving it. 1 second left. Nick Moore wrapped both the legs up, gave the 2. So I think that was the final air out of the balloon for that match. But that's the Iowa style. Get the takedowns late in the second period, late in periods to win matches. That's what takes out the air from your opponent, and that's what they want to see.
Absolutely, and maybe that style is what is going to get him that win tomorrow over Harger. Who do you have winning that one?
I'll go Harger.
And who do you have winning the top? You got Harger?
Top? That's a tough one. I would love to see Jackson Morris win. And I just think Taylor Walsh, if he gets in those couple point matches and he can't get the big moves, that's the people he runs into trouble with because that's his style. Him and Dylan Ness, the most electrifying people in college wrestling. And if, Dylan Ness showed earlier at the Cliff Keen that he's capable of winning those close matches now. Mm-hmm. Is Taylor Walsh, is he on that level? When you have a All-American status type of wrestler that you're going against, are you able to win those close matches without getting those, flashy 5-point moves? You're going Jackson. I'll go Taylor Walsh just for the heck of it. But I would love to see Jackson win. I absolutely would. I think it would be good for him. I think it would be great for his confidence later on in the year.
So you got Walsh, Harger. I've got Morse.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
All right. Mike Evans, who is not the wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Bucks, versus Brock Gutchis and Sebastian and Brunson. We slightly touched on it with Mitchich, but Northwestern, this is great for Northwestern, red shirt in these guys right now, but they're able to wrestle unattached, and they're in the semifinals at the Midlands. One of, the best in-season tournaments that you can have.
Yeah, really impressive by Sebastian and Mitchik. And other than for the first round, Sebastian won in overtime. Then he had a pin over the 11th seed, a major in the quarters, and then he's going to have Brunson here. Both those guys are having great years, and it should really set up Northwestern, along with Bryce Brill, who was in the lineup. He got hurt. I think he's done for the year, but he was a true freshman also. So they have a good little trio moving forward. As far as Sebastian and Brunson, tough to say. I think Sebastian. I haven't watched Brunson enough this year. I've watched Sebastian a few times. And Brunson is moving up from 2 weights. He actually, I just kind of watched him a little bit, but he looks small for 74. I'm shocked that he's like 14, 15, and 0, something like that. But he's up from 57 because they got Martinez, they got Morris, so he's 74. And so, which is a good matchup for him because Sebastian's not a overly big 74, but he does do some tough stuff like short dumps, and he rolls around pretty well. He can scramble really well. So that should be an interesting match. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Brunson over the Sebastian in his home gym.
All right. Might as well stick with suit. I'll go Sebastian. Just gotta love what young guys are doing. I think he's killing it so far. Other than second round, sudden victory win, but why not? Let's get a. Oh, so who does he wrestle in the finals? Who are you going with? Top half. You going Evans?
Evans? Yeah, Evans.
Yeah.
But you watch the All-Star meet. Gutches is tough.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
On what, two NAIA, or maybe is he going for his? No, he's going for his third, right?
Yeah, I think his third, but he can.
Took down Kokish, right? Or was yeah?
I think he took him down first.
Yeah, that's right. So it'd be entertaining. You gotta love the position he's in, where he's just trying to prove himself.
Right.
Really, listen, I'm as good as these dudes. I'm just in a different division. So I really hope he goes all out. He pins a lot of guys, so that would be something.
Yeah, I'm going Evans. I was gonna say, yeah, good story, but I'm going Evans.
Safe money.
Can't go away from him.
Yeah. So Evans Brunson.
All right. Let's move on to 84. This is where I had to stop, make some food, got a little tired, so Lorenzo Thomas is wrestling Hayden Zilmer, and on the bottom half it is Brooks and Deckow. Deckow just barely squeaked a win over Austin Gable, but these ODU guys, they got to get their offense going. I was watching, help me out here, 125. Jeske. I grew up watching him wrestle. I mean, I watched him wrestle since he was 5 years old. Jeske died and didn't have too much offense, and Deckow did the same thing. And I don't know if Austin Gable is, those wrestlers that you just can't do too much with. You're pretty evenly matched. I don't know if that was the case in this match, but I wasn't impressed with Deckow's offense. You're the number 2 seed in Midlands. You need to be going out there. You need to be putting it on the line. You're going to be wrestling on national TV. If you're wrestling on national TV, my thought is we're trying to grow the sport. You need to go out there and you need to put everything you have on the line. I don't want to see tiebreakers. I don't want to see triple overtimes. I want to see exciting matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure that's not his goal is not to win by one. It's just the way it is wrestling.
Yeah.
No, the most important thing for him is to win the match. Number one, not to lose 17-15.
Yeah, true. But someone has to criticize it.
I agree. But Gable's tough. You watched him against Penn State.
Yeah.
Against Washington. He's tough. So I don't know. Deckow, he grinds out a lot of matches like that, especially this year. He's had a couple that have gone into overtime already. So his match with Brooks should be a good one. I've said that for everyone. So there's a lot of a good semi matches, but Brooks is coming off a major over Bernstein, who's a returning All-American, and Brooks is one of those guys that's just kind of been waiting in the wings. He was behind Ethan Lofthouse last year, and he had beaten a bunch of good guys between 84 and 97. So this might be his coming out party. I think he upsets Deckow and makes the finals here. Great call.
Those Iowa guys, I'm not sure if you're familiar with football, but Bruce Arians, he always preaches that next guy up mentality. You never know. Something's going to happen to somebody at all times. I don't know if you ever got injured in your career, but I was injured for half my career. I was projected to be the starter every year, and then somehow something happened. So that's great that they live this next guy up mentality. So hopefully he picks up the win. I'll go Deckow just
because you're in Virginia right now.
Yeah. I'm 30 minutes from ODU, so why not? That's why you don't see the AWP banner behind me. My wife said earlier, we started talking, and she said, you better be quiet. I let you keep an Associated Wrestling Press banner up in my kitchen. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I won't argue anymore. So let's move on. Lorenzo, Thomas, and Zilmer. Who do you got on the top half?
Yeah, I was impressed with Thomas in the quarters against Avery. Vic Avery, he's one. I mean, he's one of the most underrated guys I think in the
Yeah,
country.
real deal for sure.
He is, and he had 6 losses last year. They were all to All Americans. He beat Lofthouse at NCAAs. His losses this year are to number 1, 2, 3, and 4 by 2 points, 2 points, overtime, overtime. And he was in a great position to win this match. And I looked away. Thomas must have ridden him out and put it into OT, and then they got in a great scramble, and Thomas came out on top. So I was impressed by Thomas gutting that one out. I'm going to take him over Zilmer. Zilmer also gutted out a win over Robertson, and he's like 19-2 this year. He's having a great year. He used to be a 57-pounder, so that was a couple years ago, but he's up a few weights, so he can wrestle. It should be a great match, but I got Thomas. Thomas and
Me
Brooks
as
in the
well.
finals.
And Vic Avery, what does that say about him? I mean, if it comes down to NCAAs, he's wrestling one of those top guys. What does he have to do to, or can he figure out what he has to do to win those close matches? Because, I mean, he's doing everything he needs to against the people not that they don't matter, but, you know, theoretically they don't matter. And the people that do matter, he's not doing what he has to.
Yeah, I think he's pretty close, and from here out, him and his coaches. I'm sure they have a couple things that they just need to fine tune. He can scramble as well as any 84-pounder in the country. So maybe just getting to his leg attacks and preventing those scrambles, and using him as a last resort type thing is maybe what he's going to do going forward. So.
All right. Let's move on to 197. Burke and Fox and Timmy McCall and Kepke. Is that how you say it? Is that what you're going with? I'm going with it.
Sounds right.
All right. We need to call these kids and say, hey, how do you pronounce your name?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going Burke on the top half. I just think he's redshirting this year, correct?
As of now, I think so. I don't know why, but I feel like if they're trying to get the most points possible at NCAAs.
Yeah, it's usually not like Iowa. It's if they have him available, he's not hurt, he's not ineligible. Why not put him out?
Yeah,
and we'll touch on something after this, but let me make a note of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say it's also not like Iowa to start true freshman though, and he did. So.
Very true.
Interesting situation. Well, what were you going to
say? We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Let's move on to the bottom half. Excuse me?
I have Burak on the top also.
Okay.
Say it,
Kepke and McCall.
I got McCall. McCall avenged an earlier loss to Abe Ayala, who was previously unbeaten and was having a great year. That was a great match. Those guys are both really athletic, and they fired off a bunch of attempts. McCall scored first, and then no one could really do anything the rest of it. So I got him over Kepke. Kepke making a good run as the 10 seed. But I think McCall's too strong, too powerful.
I'm with you. All right. So you got Burke and McCall for 197. Let's move on to 285. And you don't hear this a lot. Please record this, but this is going to be one of the best. This is like some of the best semis that we're going to have in this tournament.
I agree.
It's crazy. I didn't even. I'll leave it there. Mike McMullen and Ty Walls. I said this before. Ty Walls, if I have the ball, 4th and goal, we need a touchdown. I'm giving the ball to Ty Walls. I just think he's a gamer. I think he's definitely going to All-American this year. There's no doubt in my mind. I absolutely love the way he wrestles. His mentality is just go out there and, I mean, it kind of defies what you think for heavyweights, but I like watching him wrestle. And do I think he's going to take down McMullen? Absolutely not. Don't think I'm saying that. But I'm just saying, if I'm looking for the best match for McMullen, I think this should have been the finals. But that's what happened. So I'm going McMullen on the top half over Ty Walls. Who do you got on that?
I got McMullen also. It should be interesting stylistically because they're both on the same level. They're both used to wrestling big guys, but now they get to wrestle, some shorter, more athletic guys. So Walls' scrambling's actually really impressed me, which you don't hear. I've seen him get in a few scrambles, wins every one. So that's nice. Unfortunately, McMullen's also really good from those scrambles. He's unbelievably athletic, and probably for me one of the most fun big guys to watch, at least in the recent years. So I've got him. But to say Ty Walls that should have been the finals, I think you're incorrect.
You think so? You think Telford?
I think Medbury.
Okay.
But I mean, all those guys are so close, and
yeah,
it'll be good to watch them all wrestle and see where it plays out. But Medbury is on an absolute roll. I don't know if my numbers are right. I think he's 17-0. He's scored bonus in 14 of 17 at heavyweight, and a lot of those are over ranked guys. So I don't think he's going to bonus Telford. He's a mountain, but I do think he gets by him. I think he makes it to the finals here.
I could see it. I don't know. Do you know how tall he is?
Medbury?
Yeah.
Not as tall as Telford.
Because
he's like McMullen. He's a little taller than McMullen, probably.
Yeah, my one of my friends is a scout for the NFL, and he always tells me, I'm looking for heavyweights all the time. Heavyweight wrestlers, that's what the NFL scouts look for. And he said, who's the most athletic heavyweight right now? And I said McMullen, but he's not tall enough to be NFL.
Yeah, on that level, no.
No. Okay, so Medbury's same as.
Yeah, he's kind of cut from that cloth. Yeah.
All right. And then anything else you want to touch on that? So you got McMullen, Medbury.
I do.
Okay.
I got McMullen winning.
Yeah, I got McMullen winning. I don't know. I'm not even going to say on bottom half who I got. I'll go Telford. I'll go Telford, but I don't think it's going to matter. I just don't. For the team scores, you got. Well, I'll just go over the top 5. And this is after the quarterfinals. Tomorrow will be the semifinals. You got Iowa at 110, Illinois at 89, Northwestern at 62, Edinburgh at 57, and Virginia Tech at 54. That's your top 5 for the Midlands after the quarterfinals. JJ, is there anything else you want to touch on before we let you go?
No, I'm pumped for this weekend, and I'm excited. We're gonna do this again tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We'll. That's up to you. We'll talk about that offline, but
scuffle as well should be nice.
I can't wait for the scuffle.
Did you say you wrestled that scuffle or just Midlands?
No, I didn't. My brother had an opportunity. My brother wrestled at the University of Missouri, and he had the opportunity to wrestle at the scuffle 3 times. Excuse me, 4 times. He's actually in the background. He took 4th. Excuse me. Sorry, he's saying 4th because he took 4th.
Okay.
So give credit where credit's due, I guess. He lost to Nickerson and Ness.
That's not bad.
All right. Well, that's been it for the Associated Wrestling Press's College Wrestling Review. I've been Eric Olenowski. He's been JJ Johnson. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Press. That's where you can send us any questions or comments that you have about the show or any questions in general. JJ, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you.